Thank you, Femi. I'm delighted to moderate this panel about what is happening in Canada with the establishment of the Survivors Council and what our government needs to address to end childhood sexual violence. I'm delighted to introduce my fellow Canadian survivor advocates and activists, Arthur, Stewart, and Kristi. Coming to you first, Arthur, can you speak to what the Survivor Council is and why we are setting it up?
The reason, Rosalia, and it's wonderful to be with you, the reason is that we are going to create the first ever in Canadian history Survivors Council that has the collective voices across the country being heard, but not only just being heard, acted on in a transformative context. And this context is different from your ordinary conventional change. We are going to be focusing on the roots of oppression in our country. And in doing so, focusing on that, we're going to be focusing on three key pillars that you have articulated previously in other talks. And that is the idea of holistic intervention, holistic healing, and holistic justice. That's what we're going to be focusing on for the first time in our country. And that's exciting. It's exhilarating to be part of this movement. So thank you for this today, Rosalia.
Thank you, Arthur. I agree. It has to be all voices representing all of the people of Canada. Let's move it over to Stewart. Can you speak more about how you think that the council can have an impact for other survivors and for today's children? And how can the idea of this be replicated in other countries?
Thank you for having me here, and nice to see you again, Rosalia. This will work in this country and other countries. We at the Gatehouse have been doing this for years, and for examples, we've done it in Bolivia, South America, all countries across Africa, for example. The UK are some great examples where we've been reaching out for many, many years. Even today, we're joining up with Scotland, and we are both organizing survival councils in our own prospective countries, helping one another make this happen. This includes all voices, no matter what color your skin or your sexual identity happens to be. There can be no discrimination moving forward. If Canada is to preach about equality internationally for years, as we have been doing, first it must do a better job right here at home. Truth conciliation moving forward must be included to do a much better job, as the Fed's promises keep failing from the beginning when it all started in 2014. I've spoken with many First Nations people over the years, expressing only that the tears have become greater and the words are just words, not action. This is our call to global action, as we here in Canada have become part of the Brave Movement for All.
Thank you, Stewart. And Kristi, I'll bring it back to you to talk about here in Canada and the work that has been done to inform the national call to action here. Can you speak to what we believe our government must do to end childhood sexual violence?
Yes, thank you, Rosalia. So here in Canada, we know it's a critical time for awakening for Canadians. It's time for the government to embed equality and inclusion all across efforts to end violence, and to have focused efforts for Indigenous children. We need more truth, transparency with numbers, and we need it all now. As we're uncovering graves, the numbers and statistics are just going to keep compiling, and everyone is going to have to look at that.
Thank you, Kristi. And yes, absolutely, we do need more truth and transparency, and that is the goal of what we're working towards. So thank you so much, everyone, for your contribution to this conversation. Femi, back to you.